What's up, everybody? This is Jacob and
Namdo.
Namdo, the man. We just got done with an amazing pool party for Kelly's 52nd birthday, and we just took a drive to run an errand, and now we are here. And as we were leaving, me and Mr. Doe were talking about business and how to build, and the topic of three-way calls came up. And if you can properly learn to do three-way calls, you can increase your closing ratio tremendously. And Mr. Doe is my favorite person to do three-way calls with because he's always able to answer. He's very easy to edify, and he knows how to mold the conversation to the person that we're talking to. So I don't know what you wanted to do in particular, but just kind of share about three-way calls, and if you want to ask me some questions or ask you questions, whatever.
Yeah, the purpose of a three-way call is really third-party validation to help you close more business, more gold packs, more customers, whatever it is. But first you want to study cash cow and success triangle and how to do the proper edification for three-way calls. And Jacob is one of the masters, like edification is really for you and your business to help you build your empire, not so that you guys can flatter me, because trust me, I don't need edification. I don't need people to speak highly of me for me. I'll edify myself just by the actions that I do, by leading by example. But if you guys want to learn how to edify, we're going to ask Mr. Jacob Rakowski for some tips on how you guys can edify properly so that he can do a three-way call, or I can do a three-way call, or Kelly or Bob, your Organo's favorite diamonds. If you guys don't edify properly, we have no power or authority to talk to your prospects after they see the presentation. So Jacob, what are your tips on edification and three-way calls? Because you seem to call me for those more than anybody else.
Right. Well, I know that if a person is on the fence, we have people in our organization that can validate the information I shared and help that person make the commitment to get started. So what do? When I'm on the phone with somebody, one of my questions after they view information, if they're living at a distance or whatever, I send them ourcompanyinfo.com, and then I say, so what did you like about what you saw? And they say, I think the business looks great, I can make money. And I say, okay, well, what pack makes the most sense to you? And then they say, I think I want to go with the gold pack. And I say, okay, great. Well, let me make sure that things are going to be a fit. I have a business partner who's been helping me for the last 5.5 years. So talk about the business partner that you're working with. And if it wasn't for this person, I wouldn't have been able to get the results that I've gotten. I say Mr. Doe has helped me for the last 5.5 years. He's personally mentored and coached me on how to build my business. And he's personally allowed me to live the lifestyle that I live based on the knowledge that he has. And I can't think of a better person to assist us in this process. So I'm putting him on a pedestal, not for him, but for me, so that the person that I'm introducing to him can feel like they are of value because they get to spend time speaking with Mr. Doe. Another thing that doing that does is it gives him the ability to be effective. We've seen people do three-way calls with no edification, low edification, and high edification. We've seen people do mixers with no edification, low edification, and high edification. And the closing ratios are directly correlated with the amount of edification that is done. I'm not saying you need to go absolutely crazy, but you do need to do an amazing job with edification. If you do that, you can make a 6-figure income just based on how good you are at edifying the products, the business, the events, the millionaire mentorship calls, all of these things. And I say, now, I'm not sure if Mr. Doe is available. He travels, here and there. He's all over the world. I'm not sure if I can even get a hold of him, but let me check. So I hang up on that person. I reach out to Mr. Doe. Maybe it's right away. Maybe it takes an hour. Maybe even it takes half a day. But eventually we get in touch, and then I say, hey, here's who I'm working with. John, he's ready to get the gold pack. We just need to connect and make sure this is a fit. And he says, okay, no problem. I go ahead and call John back. I say, John, You know, we're on for 4 o'clock. At 4 o'clock, me and John get on the phone. I say, hang on, John, let me connect the call to Mr. Doe. I connect the call, you know, through the three-way phone call, get on the phone with John first, get on the phone with Mr. Doe, and I say, hey, Mr. Doe, we're ready to go. He says, okay, connect the calls. I say, you know, John, this is Mr. Namdo. Before I introduce you guys, I just wanted to take the time again, Mr. Doe, to say thank you so much for taking your valuable time. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're taking 5 minutes out to speak with us. John, you're very privileged to be speaking with Mr. Doe because he has a team of over 20,000 people, and he is the person that can absolutely help you make a 6-figure income in this business. So have all your questions ready. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce you guys. And then I'm done. I mute my phone, and I am absolutely done, and they're talking. At the very end of the call, I jump back on and say, hey, thank you so much for your time, Mr. Doe. We really appreciate it. And John, let's go ahead and get you started. And, you know, Mr. Doe's job at that point is to answer his questions and to lead him to either a package, a bronze, silver, or gold, or a decision. And I just want to go back for a second. One thing I'm doing when I'm connecting the call with Mr. Doe is I'm re-edifying him lightly for 30 to 60 seconds, just talking about, hey, thank you for spending your time, Mr. Doe. This is John. You know, I'm giving him that position to where he can turn around and say, well, you know, you're super blessed to be working with Jacob. He's doing great things, blah, 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 blah. He's done this, and that. He's making a good amount of money with our business, and he can absolutely help you reach your goals. So this person is sitting there thinking, wow, you know, I have a lot of support, and I'm very special to be talking with this person, and I'm also special to be talking with this person, according to this person. Wow, that's amazing. So do you have any other points?
We're parked outside of Kelly's house, by the way. So hi, Kelly, Paul,
Yes.
Jacinta. We see you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jacob does a great job. He does it, and I don't really, you know, need the edification so that his prospects like me. It's more of so that I can become effective talking to his prospects so that they can join. And Kelly wants an example of what would be de-edifying. One example is like this. I had a distributor the other day introduce me to their prospect as Mr., let's just say Adams, right? And told Mr. Adams, this is Nam. That's the wrong way. You got to edify Mr. Doe or Mr. Rakowski and call your prospect by their first name. Back to you, Jacob.
That's all I got.
That's all I got. So
That was just my response. I was like,
okay.
this is Mr. Adams. Hey, Nam.
Oh. So I don't get mad. I'll never get mad at anybody for doing that. It's just that I'm not effective talking to your prospects if they're Mr. Adams and I'm Nam. Okay? So you got it backwards there.
No, you can't. I mean, he's John. He's Bill. You know, he's like your neighbor. If in that situation, he's not anything to be listened to if you don't make it so, right?
Correct.
Right, and there's all kinds of nonverbal de-edification, like just non-verbally, you know, just not treating an upline or a downline or whatever, and this is a whole training, like they are of extreme value. I treat everybody like they're of extreme value. We always want to treat everybody like they're of extreme value, but especially the person that you're introducing to your prospects or the person that's doing the presentation. That is going to directly affect how effective Dr. Bob or Mr. Doe or whoever you have speaking, whoever your leader is, Miss Diane Solano, whoever is speaking, it directly affects how effective they can be. And, you know, you obviously want to be friendly with them, but you want to build up the business respect for whoever it is that's talking to your prospect or speaking.
Okay,
or if you
butt with one
butt in while they're talking. Yeah, interrupting people is just really...
Sorry for interrupting you.
Yeah. Interrupting, thank you for saying that. Interrupting people is generally de-edifying in any sense.
That's correct.
Anything else?
That's about it. We hope you guys use 3 ways to your advantage, and we're ready to see you guys all in Vegas for Expo.
Yes.
You guys are going to be fired up. There's going to be awesome announcements and new products there. So make sure you register for your ticket in your hotels.
Put value on their time. You know, this person's very busy. You know, we're lucky to have their time, not, oh, yeah, you know, and just kind of fool around with their time. And, let's see. I had something I was going to say. But, yeah, if you missed this, you know, go back and watch it again from the beginning. It's very important. I was going to say something else. Oh, I was just going to ask, do you have any other points in the comments down below about de-edification?
Or edification. And just keep in mind, you guys can always reach out to us and ask us questions. So even though this live doesn't cover everything, just ask us questions and we'll be more than happy to answer them for you. Anytime, Jennifer, I see you.
Holton Bug's Cash Cow. Sorry for interrupting you. Holton Bug's Cash Cow is probably one of the best which disc is it? I'm sorry. I'm confused on the disc.
I don't know what disc, but
it's either disc 3 or 4.
It's labeled on there. It talks about three-way calls and edification as well.
Yeah.
Separately.
And it's one of the best at teaching how to do that. But anyways, you can YouTube it. Holton Bugs, three-way calls. How does it work? Any other comments down below on edification or de-edification? We got about 10 seconds. Don't ever ask your upline. Never.
Does the dog wag the tail or does the tail wag the dog?
Right? You can't ask your upline to call your prospect because then they're the one chasing it. It's common sense, really.
Yeah.
It's really common sense.
Don't forget to have organo 3 times a day.
Yes.
Whereas the vitamins, toothpaste, 3 cups of coffee or something 3 times a day minimum. Ganoderma's good for you.
Yeah, or 3 shakes a day, whatever you want. I do like 50.
I do about half of one.
I like to address people as sir, so Q is automatically even prospect. Should I not be? I don't know. What? Common sense is not always common. That's very true. Jennifer, in the situation with your upline, if you like to address people as sir, you know, what do you have to say to that?
Just do it to them when you're talking to them one-to-one, but when you're edifying your uplines, connecting them to your senior business partners, etc., Mr. Rakowski or whoever, Mrs. Diane Solano, introduce them as Miss Solano, meet Jacob, my friend, or my acquaintance that's interested in his business, but always call your prospect by the first name and your upline leader or the expert by their last name, Mr.
Or at least...
or Mrs.
at least Mr. Jacob, because I know I'm younger than a lot of people, but, you know, or Mr. Rakowski, whatever you prefer, but it's not for me, it's not for Mr. Doe, it's actually for you. When I do all the edification, I know the more I am able to amp it up, the more he's going to be effective, and the more money I'm going to be able to make, the more OG we got going. So,
Coffee.
We've been on here forever. We're going to let you guys go. Have a beautiful night.
Good night.
Good night.